Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I Man here from the Block Runner, and today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin Cash, the little brother to Bitcoin, right, I Man?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. The clone, the copycat, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So
Everyone's got different estimates on it, I guess.
yeah, let's
But
let's uh let's give a little background as to why Bitcoin Cash exists. So essentially, I guess Roger Ver really believed real hard in the Satoshi white paper, and that Bitcoin was supposed to be a digital cash where we're supposed to use it to buy coffee, right, and go shopping with it. And so there was a lot of developers who didn't agree with that, and they forked Bitcoin's code into Bitcoin Cash,
mm,
and they modified the code so that it is easily transactable, right? It's cheaper to transact and faster. And
mm,
so what you're looking at here represents, I guess, the differences in the technology, right? The updates that Bitcoin Cash made to Bitcoin in order to facilitate a little bit more freer experience. But as you can see, there's a lot more people trying to, Jesus, look at this,
yeah,
trying,
there's really clearly more demand to get on the orange bus. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But that's not to say anything bad about. Clearly, if those people wanted to get on the green bus, it would be a much more pleasurable ride for them, right? Like peek inside these buses, dude. Let's take a look. What's going on
yeah.
in there? There's plenty of room. You know what I mean? There's plenty of room
Look
in
at
the
the
green
size of
bus.
this.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty fucking wild, actually. The problem is, not many people accept green bus. Not many people want to spend a green bus. Most people want gold bus.
Yeah.
So if you check a look, yeah, these buses, dude, totally jam packed, dude. Like packed to the brim. You know what I mean?
So these numbers represent, you can't really see that, but 67 or 677,207 is the block number for the next block to be appended. And so
Mm-hmm.
this is number 8, number 9, and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, a lot of people are transacting in Bitcoin, and they're essentially waiting to be added to the next chain. So this is what happened when you were buying coffee with your Bitcoin, and you would have to wait 30 minutes for a transaction to be confirmed. That's because
Right.
you're at the end of the bus line here.
Yeah,
And
like if you go to Tesla.com or whatever, you try and buy your Tesla because now they accept Bitcoin, you're going to be sitting there for a little hefty minute or so, which is perfectly fine for a transaction of
oh
that
yeah.
scale, right? If we're talking $30,000, $40,000 purchase, everyone's willing to spend a couple of hours waiting, for that transaction to clear. No big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking micro level transactions, which you're right. Like you have to go back and actually read that white paper to understand if whether I guess if Satoshi really did envision Bitcoin to become that. Because if you go back to like those early conversations he had back in 2009 and 10, like on those forum boards, that was part of the big debate. Like how like people were already anticipating this Bitcoin will not scale
Mhm.
if it gets adopted. Like people were expecting it to.
Yeah.
So how do you solve these dilemmas? And that's kind of where we are now. Like scaling is still an issue. We're still trying to figure out how to maintain that censorship resistance and all the beautiful qualities we like from blockchain and decentralization and still be fast. Like the money we're used to. You know.
Yeah.
So I guess the reason to talk about it now is because Bitcoin. If you guys were around in the last cycle, a lot of y'all probably weren't. There was a point in time where like Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, the narratives were clashing. Where there was a large sector of people who actually thought Bitcoin Cash was the better Bitcoin. It was the true Bitcoin. It was the actual vision of Satoshi. The old Bitcoin should cease to exist.
Yeah.
Bitcoin Cash should flip it. They called it the flippening. You know, and there was a point in time where it got neck and neck. Like Bitcoin Cash almost flipped Bitcoin and became that number one cryptocurrency in the space.
Yeah.
You know, so here we are 4 years later. Bitcoin Cash hasn't really done much, right? Like, so I guess now's the time to speculate. Is that narrative now we have a whole new generation, right, of speculators, people buying Bitcoin, people who don't necessarily understand the fundamental drawbacks of the Bitcoin tech itself. They get it. They understand the store of value, right? Because that's what's being pitched to everybody right now.
Right.
But the narrative hasn't been sold yet. Like as far as how are we going to spend these Bitcoins? So somehow the Bitcoin Cash organization has to cook up this narrative again. And yeah, I think once it does start, you're going to see quite the rush. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we're seeing a bunch of other tokens from 2017 that are starting to rally now, like Tron and Verge, these are like huge. These are like big time tokens in 2017.
Yeah,
And
largely, a lot of people would probably identify them as scam tokens, right?
yeah,
Just, not necessarily like innovative products, you know what I mean? More like just like
copies.
spin-offs of like what already existed, but somehow like in Verge's case, John McAfee was largely responsible for pumping that one.
Yeah,
Tron's case, I mean, it was mostly Binance and like all kinds of different like conglomerates of like collusion to pump the fuck out of that coin.
yeah.
In Bitcoin Cash's case, I mean, it was just,
It
I
was
guess
a it
Roger,
was it was a narrative in Roger Ver too.
yeah, Roger Ver, he's Bitcoin Jesus, dude. He had a lot of power back then, so
Yeah.
it's kind of weird. Yeah, he's been so quiet lately.
Yeah, I have, back in those days, it was like a tweet every single day or every few minutes you'd hear from Roger Ver about, Bitcoin Cash being the real Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because it was such a fresh idea at the time.
I mean,
Bitcoin was going through this whole forking process where there was like 10 different versions of Bitcoin like overnight.
yeah, Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Diamond, I
Bitcoin
mean,
Black,
Bitcoin Black, yeah.
eventually Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, Craig Wright,
Yes, that's right.
it
That's
just
right.
kept on going, right?
In some respects, Roger Ver is kind of right. I mean, the white paper does say it's supposed to be cash, but I think, looking at it from an objective standpoint, there's a bigger use case for Bitcoin, the larger Bitcoin, and I think that use case is much more important than just like digital currencies that we spend to buy groceries, right? But nonetheless, Roger Ver does have a certain point, but then again, it's like, if you're a developer in Bitcoin, you want to work on like the biggest thing, right? The biggest use case, right? The thing that might change the entire world. That's what you want to work on.
Mm.
The cash aspect of it, it's cool, but I mean, we already have digital cash, right, in fiat version. So I mean, it's cool, but it's just not the same as Bitcoin like that we have today.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the reason why we're talking about this is, like you were saying, it hasn't really pumped, and you know that it will, right? It's so.
Yeah, like this bull run isn't over until Bitcoin Cash
Yes.
presence be known. I feel like there's no way we escape this cycle without this narrative once
Yeah.
again reintroducing itself. Because, like I said, it's a whole new generation that hasn't really heard this yet.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't aware of it, and all of the setup is there. It's on Robinhood.
Yeah.
This coin is actively trading on Robinhood right now. If you don't know what that means, like just look to see what happened to GameStop. Look to see what happened to Dogecoin.
Yeah.
I mean, pull up Dogecoin's chart, dude. Like
Yeah.
it completely dwarfed its previous all-time high from the last cycle. Why? Because the narrative was there, mostly fueled by Elon Musk and like internet memers.
Damn.
Pick that shit up, dude. So right now, Bitcoin Cash is like in that flatline stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's over here. Bitcoin Cash is like in this area right here.
Yeah, it has the market. It has not paying attention to it at all.
Yeah.
So there has to be some kind of catalyst, right? This is pure speculation. There's nothing fundamental about like what we're talking about here.
Yeah. Absolutely not.
I mean, but from the project's perspective, there is fundamental benefits to Bitcoin Cash over Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Like as far as like a spending utility to it, But yeah, as far as the value of it, I mean, pure speculation at this point. But I mean, it has all the same properties of Bitcoin, right? It's 21 million cap supply.
Mm-hmm.
Roughly, I mean, it's got the same circulating supply, right? Like 18 million or something like that.
Yeah, and it just has bigger blocks. Obviously, if you go back to the bus analogy here, I mean, this is the size of the block. It's gigantic, right? You can fill a bunch of transactions here. It's just people, I guess, aren't using it in comparison to Bitcoin, right?
Yeah,
For whatever reason.
I mean, it's just a belief system, I mean, more people believe in Bitcoin than Bitcoin Lite. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
But
right.
that's not to say like just because one thing is successful, there's always going to be like the minnows feeding off the whale. Like, and Bitcoin Cash has a lot of room to catch up to get back to its previous minnow status. I feel like
And Litecoin is another.
Bitcoin too.
Yeah, it's another one. It's another fork off of Bitcoin, except its max is not 21 million; it's 84 million, right? And let's see what it has done. So it sort of rallied a little bit, right? But I don't think this one's done either.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Like we've talked about in the past, like man, have we topped out yet? Like as far as a market cycle, I don't think until we see like these legacy
Yeah,
coins like totally outperforming the market, that's whenever we know things are getting out of control and like super frothy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
when this peak right here looks like this
Yeah,
peak,
yeah,
that's another signal.
yeah. Agreed. So I mean, this is good to see. Like, if you're worried that like the end is near for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, like where
Yeah,
bubbles about to pop any day now, I think these are good indicators that tell us that that's not the case. You
yeah,
know?
yeah, absolutely. And speaking of Bitcoin, let's go back to the blue square that we made a few days ago, actually.
Yeah.
And I don't know
All
what's
you
your
gotta do is
first thought?
extend it a little bit.
Yeah,
You
all I
know?
had to do is extend a little bit. Yeah, so this represents about 14 days. Every single like blue box here is 14 days. And yeah, so it took a little longer, but essentially, I mean, we're right on track, right? This is a Bitcoin moon math right here.
This is a
And
nice healthy consolidation, pretty much.
yeah.
So what are
So
you expecting?
so
Breakout?
I'm thinking it's going to break out, but that's what I always say. But it's
Cool.
still even healthier if it just continues to consolidate in this range.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
We don't need a $90,000 Bitcoin next week. We don't need that. What we need
yeah,
is more consolidation.
agreed. I think March lived up to its
Yeah, it's legacy.
notorious nature. Like it was definitely a nothing burger of a month for Bitcoin. No
Yeah,
real upside or real strong downside.
yeah.
I mean, there are a couple of weeks where things were getting kind of terrifying, but yeah, I mean, March did what we expected it to do. It's just largely like a correction month for the cycle, and I think yeah, April will probably be like a
But,
continuation month.
but look at this month over month growth, dude. So it started the month at 45 and right now it's at 59. So it's I don't think it's going anywhere but up, dude. I mean, look at this previous run here, the 20K.
Yeah, shake that map a little bit. Let's get to 288K. The
Oh yeah.
B20. What's it called? No, Plan
The
B.
yeah, the cross asset model.
Let's go ahead and throw like a nice little comfy line up there.
Okay. So let's put it at 288,000.
Yeah, if you don't know what we were talking about, I don't know when we recorded this podcast, but we recorded one where we broke down some dude named Plan B's like, you know, mathematical model why $288,000 Bitcoin is pretty much like a certainty this cycle.
Yeah.
What the hell's all this other stuff, dude?
Yeah.
I can't
I guess
see any.
I can delete all this stuff now.
What are those blue, like these blue boxes? Can't even see the candles anymore.
Well,
Oh no, dude. Technical difficulties. There we go.
yeah, so 288 is more like kind of way up here. But yeah, I mean, once we get there, dude, it's going to look disgusting, that's for sure.
Okay. We're on our way,
Yeah.
boys and girls.
So
So
now
yeah, I said that. Just I don't know. I don't know what the takeaway is from this, to be honest. Like, just refamiliarize yourself with the history of what happened with Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin 4 years ago, and I guess make your own assumptions, like whether or not this narrative will pick up again, and people will start to believe Bitcoin Cash is like is the real Bitcoin.
yeah.
I think chances actually kind of low, but you never know in this market, dude. Anything's possible.
Yeah. And so let's just look at a comparison between Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. There's a lot more activity happening on Ethereum. A lot of movement, a lot of transactions actually being confirmed here.
Expensive ones though.
Yeah, yeah.
They should have like added on like some bling to these little characters, like like some gold chains and some like Rolexes. You know what I mean? Like, damn,
Yeah.
these guys are rich. Like just some expensive transactions.
Dang. So yeah, this is a cool little animation. I gotta see who made this. Transactionstreet.com. Make sure you visit these guys. They got a donation button up here. Yeah, man. This is what blockchain looks like in South Park form.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Hopefully one day they'll make an episode about this. But
Yeah.
until then, yeah, we'll see.
All right, guys. Let us know what you think about Bitcoin Cash. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at The Blockburner and also at MetaZone.io. Like, subscribe, and yeah, we'll catch you in the next video.
Peace out.